Hello student, this is video number 4 ongoing chapter the Mahatma Gandhi and Nationalist Movement class 12 history. Now today's the topic is the Salt Satyagraha. A case study question based also here emerged and the background the major political events from 1928 to 1913. So between in both the 2 years which are the major incident taken in the India and what the role of Mahatma Gandhi let's we have discussed. So first year of 1927 that is the important point बेटा ईयर आपको बहुत अच्छी तरह से याद रखनी है इसके अंदर बिकॉज यू नो दिस इज़ द चैप्टर विच द लॉट्स ऑफ द डेट आर मेंशंस पर्टिकुलरली ईयर्स को कौन सा इंसिडेंट हुआ कौन सा कमीशन आया ठीक है दैट इज़ द मेन पार्ट ऑफ दिस चैप्टर सो इन द 1927 द साइमन कमीशन वॉज अपॉइंटेड अब देखिए साइमन कमीशन अपॉइंट हुआ था was the appointed to the inquiry into the condition in the colony तो इंडिया because you know India at the time is the making of colony of Britain तो ब्रिटेन वाले अपनी ब्रिटेन गवर्नमेंट वहाँ से बेटा अपना एक डेलीगेशन जैसे कमीशन भेजते थे यहाँ पे सो 1927 में साइमन कमीशंस केम टू India. In 1928 there was in all the campaign in the oppositions to all the white commission sent to India. ठीक है इन्होंने अपॉइंट किया बेटा इसको 1927 में और ये इंडिया कब आया 1928 में साइमन कमीशन केम टू इंडिया इन 1928 इस कमीशन में ये था कि जो भी इसके मेंबर्स थे देयर आर द 3 मेंबर्स 4 मेंबर्स जो भी इसके अंदर थे बेटा ऑल आर इन वाइट्स दैट मीन्स वो सारे ब्रिटिशर्स थे कोई भी इस कमीशन के अंदर इंडियंस नहीं था जब आप इंडिया के अंदर इंडिया का ही अगर कंडीशंस को जज कर रहे हैं और आप सारे ही वाइट पर्सनस को अपॉइंट कर रहे हैं दैट मीन्स कि कहीं ना कहीं दे फेवर्स टू द ब्रिटिश जो यहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट है जो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी है या जो दूसरे रूलर यहाँ पे बेटा ब्रिटिश ऑफिसर्स हैं दे विल बी द सपोर्ट द वाइट मैन आल्सो सो दैट द मेन रीजंस कि ऑल द इंडियंस लीडर्स कांग्रेस लीडर्स अपोज दिस साइमन कमीशन Gandhiji did not himself participate in this movement since he was engaged in the peasant satyagraha. Gandhiji बेटा you know normally तो वो face to face physically तो इस you know जो साइमन गो बैक था उसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं हुए बट उन्होंने इसको सपोर्ट किया बिकॉज द engaged in the Bardoli. In the end of the December 1929, the Congress held its annual session in the city of Lahore. अब देखिए हमने ये बताया था कि 1885 में जब कांग्रेस स्टैब्लिशमेंट होता देयर दे हेल्ड द एवरी ईयर इन द मंथ ऑफ दिसंबर नॉर्मली दे हेल्ड देयर सेशंस सो इन द ईयर द मंथ ऑफ दिसंबर द सेशन एनुअल सेशन ऑफ लाहौर एंड लाहौर एट द टाइम इज आल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया बिकॉज यू नो पार्टीशन नहीं हुआ था उस समय पार्टीशन विल बी द 1947 सो द मीटिंग वॉज सिग्निफिकेंट इन द 2 रीजन्स अब ये जो मीटिंग था बेटा दैट इज़ द लाहौर सेशन इज़ द इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर द 2 रीजन्स फर्स्ट द इलेक्शन ऑफ जवाहरलाल नेहरू एज द प्रेसिडेंट एंड द सिग्निफाइड द पासिंग द लीडरशिप ऑफ द कांग्रेस टू यंगर generations and the proclamations of the commitment of पूर्ण स्वराज ठीक है और द कंप्लीट इंडिपेंडेंस दैट इज द मीनिंग पूर्ण स्वराज टोटली इंडिपेंडेंस और द कंप्लीटली इंडिपेंडेंस नाउ द इंडियंस मूव ऑन गेन द टोटली इंडिपेंडेंस नो यू नो कंडीशन बेस इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं चाहिए था किसी पार्टनरशिप पे उनको इंडिपेंडेंस नहीं था नाउ दे डिमांड द टोटली कंप्लीटली इंडिपेंडेंस So on the 26th January 1930 Independence Day was the observed और इसीलिए बेटा 26 January 1930 we celebrate first Independence Day was observed with the national flag being hosted at the different venues. Now the Salt March, most important topic in this chapter, Salt March. Soon after the observations of this Independence Day, the state monopoly over the salt, which was the deeply unpopular, was made a target. The Gandhiji hoped to mobilize the wider level of the discontent against the British rule. Salt was the indispensable items to every Indian house because you know they need every person to use this salt. So peoples were forbidden for making salt even for domestic use. Also the British played them by the salt from the shops at the higher price because you know government ने British government especially the price जो थी आपके साल्ट का, देयर विल बी द हायर साइड, उनको बढ़ा दिया बेटा, इंक्रीज कर दिया गया. सो गांधी हैड गिवन द एडवाइस दैट नोटिस टू दिस साल्ट मार्च टू द वाइसराय लॉर्ड इरविन एट द टाइम ऑफ द वाइसराय ऑफ इंडिया, लॉर्ड इरविन, एंड हु फेड टू द ग्रैप्स ऑफ द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द एक्शंस. So on the 12th March 1930, Gandhiji began, that is the important date, 12th March 1913, Gandhiji start their Dandi March, and the starting point of the Dandi March is Sabarmati Ashram in Gujarat. So the Sabarmati Ashram towards the oceans. He reached Dandi there. Weeks later, he made the handful of the salt and thereby the breaking of law. जो salt law British imposed, जो Britishers ने impose किया था, they break down this law. So parallel salt marches, the protests were also conducted in the other parts of the country, and the peasant branches to the hated the colonial forest laws that kept them, and then came out to the woods in the which they had once roamed fairly. In some towns, factories workers went to the strike, and while the lawyers boycotted the British courts and the students refused to attend the government run educational institutions like the schools, college, etc. As in the 1920 and 22, now the two Gandhiji is the call the encouraging the Indians to all the classes to the manifest their own the discontent with the colonial rule, especially in Indian part. During the march, Gandhiji told the upper caste that if they want Swaraj, they must serve untouchables. If the Gandhiji says the middle class, then upper class will be attend to, will be live in the independence country, then we should be help in untouchables and the lower and upper lower caste of Indian caste system. So in this the thinking, the middle class, upper class and the higher class will be join this march. So during the Gandhiji march, and the Hindu, Muslim, Parsis, Sikhs have to unite, and these are the steps towards the Swaraj. So unity, all the castes, if the together, we should be definitely we gain our independence or our Swaraj. The police spies reported there all the men and the women and all the castes attend the meeting of the Gandhiji, and they observed the thousands of the volunteers were the flocking to the national cause. The salt march of Gandhiji was reported to the American news magazines. Times is the news magazine of America. There also the mentions the salt march in news. So it is in its reports on the march of organized magazines, the deeply spectacles to the salt meeting, reaching its the destination, but shortly is changed its view and the saluted Gandhiji as a saint and a statesman. The rulers' response, the detaining and the dissenters in the wake of the Salt March in 1930, the nearby the 16,000 Indians were arrested, among them, of course, Gandhiji himself, a arrested man. What is the main significance of the Salt March? So the Salt March was the notable for at least three reasons. First, this event brought Mahatma Gandhi's the world attention. That is the main point. The march was widely covered by the Europeans and Americans press, and secondly, it was the first nationalist activity, especially by doing the Mahatma Gandhi, in which the women participated in the large of numbers. The socialist activities like Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay had the Gandhiji not to restrict the protest. The men alone. She herself, the quoted, arrested by the breaking the salt and the liquor laws, and thirdly, it's made the British realize that their rule was not to last forever. कहीं न कहीं उनको बेटा लगा कि now their power will be the shrek. So they would be have to the share some powers with the Indians. To discuss the same of the British tried to hold the round table conference, RTC, that's the short name, round table conference. Total round conference is held number 1, 2 and 3. So total RTC kitne hue beta 3, and Gandhiji participate only the second round table conference held in London. That is the important point to get some kind of resolution. So thank you for this video. Thank you.